with James Gunn, this thing that came up where he talks about the Infinity Stones.
They said, we've been thinking, and we think that maybe some of these things have been Infinity Stones in different ways. And so could you write up what the Infinity Stones mean? When I wrote the scene with the Collector, explaining that, there was this explosion and then the Infinity Stones were born and what they mean and where they came from, that was literally me just sitting down for 3 minutes and writing that. And that's then what became the rest of the Infinity Stones. There was never anybody that said anything other than, I think, the red thing and the blue thing are going to end up being Infinity Stones.
People always, it's why, because, people always give, they don't want to give credit to Disney for the entire Infinity Saga.
Right.
They want to say, though, that was all pre-planned. Right. No, it wasn't.
There were no plans.
There were no plans. Up until Guardians of the Galaxy, they had no plans for these Infinity Stones.
There wasn't a story in the comics about where the Infinity Stones came from?
No, there's a big, long Infinity saga, of course. Yeah, but it's very different from what you saw in the movies, because in the comics, it's about death. Literally death, death from Agatha,
right?
The embodiment of death. Right. It's about him trying to impress her. It's a whole nother.
But the origin of the stones?
No, the cosmic cube or the tesseract is not the space stone.
Right. So they weren't building towards anything.
Not until then. That was the fork in the road. There.
Right.
Yeah. They even decided later that stone would become purple. The power stone would be purple. Up until then, it was red.
Yeah, they had to change it.
Yeah, they had to change it back to purple because they knew, we're going to make the ether, the reality stone. One. That's going to be red. So they had to go back and recolor the Infinity Stone in Guardians to purple. So much for this grand plan. Yeah. And thanks Disney for hiring James Gunn and putting him in position to make the Infinity Saga work. And thanks Kathleen Kennedy just to put a little icing on top.
She called him to congratulate him.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, they must know each other.
Okay. Yeah, because she's a classy person, unlike the people out there that give her all the crap. Yeah.
So he's basically responsible for everything good in the comic book universe.
So basically, James Gunn's responsible for the Infinity Saga working.
He's comic book Jesus.
Yeah.
Is what he is.
So now all he has to do is something with Ryan Reynolds, who is Marvel Jesus.
They've spoken about it.
Come together and do something.